You're doing much better than I thought. The gem of wisdom lies somewhere in Pac-Ping Harbor.
Now you might already see what's going wrong here. Supposedly, these places we're in are the wonders of Pac-Land that no one has been to for hundreds of years, right? Apparently until recently, what with the ghosts taking over Cleopatra and occupying all of these places. Somehow getting through the force shields. But, if that's the case, look at this place. Just look at this place. The odd device below is a rotating gate. Enter it and then press the controller in the direction you want to exit, then press again. Gates shield you on 3 sides from ghosts and other enemies. I tried to invent a 4-sided gate, but I could not figure out how to get into it. Oh, that wacky guy. Guess that's just a hole in the... right there. Yeah, you can see the stars reflected in the waves of the ocean. It's a very beautiful touch. But look at this place. Look at this place. This is not abandoned. This is like a wharf that's currently in use in the middle of a holiday. You want me to buy that no one has been here for hundreds of years? It's just nonsense. I mean, look at all these boxes, all these shipping crates. A bunch of them have tarps on them. I mean, what happened? You tell me that this place was just happened to be abandoned like the very same, same day it was just shielded off from the rest of the world by magic barriers? It's nonsense. I mean, I don't know who lives here. We never we don't meet any other Pac people or anything. You certainly would think you would in Pac-Ping, which I suppose is supposed to be like Peking, which of course is an old romanization of Beijing. Well, what an appealing-looking Pac-Pingian, bit of architecture. See, it's a really nice touch, having seagulls fly around, having them be molting is kind of a weird touch. I mean, you notice that a lot in fiction, actually, is, they have animals that are just, like birds that are just molting for some reason. I mean, of course, birds do bulge, I swear. Of course, birds do molt. But why is it that so often in, like, video games and cartoons and other things, they seem to always be molting? Like the Helmarach King in the Wind Waker. Why do the feathers just fall off and all the time? That shouldn't be happening. You must be very sick. Of course, they do it because it makes it look more impressive. It's sort of good to. It looks good to see all these falling feathers animated. But anyway, if we can't, I mean, clearly this is very much a place that's still, inhabited. I mean, there are even these, TNT suicide robots here. I suppose I should call them dynamite suicide robots, though, shouldn't I? If only they were all as easy to kill as this particular little suicide robot factories are. I guess they're suicide bomber robots, not suicide robots. That would imply that maybe they say assist in suicides or something. They don't do that. Although they could. Given that they're suicide bomber robots, I guess if you wanted to, you go sit down by one and die. This is getting morbid. Let's talk about something else. Like Professor Pac. So, if Professor Pac-Man is clearly lying to us about no one having been to these areas for so long, which he must be, because clearly he himself has been to these areas. He set up these inventions, he's put numbers above the Pac-Dot gates. He was able, he apparently had the gems before. There's no other way that he could have made the Pactrometer be powered by the gems of virtue. And it makes even less sense than that because the Pactrometer is supposed to be designed to let you get through the force shield that surround these areas. But to design it, you already, that's useless because you already have to be able to get into these areas to get the gems. And of course, we already did get into the areas to get the gems, and so did he. He was already in these areas to get these gems. Before before Ms. Pac-Man was here. He had to be. clearly the gems must do something completely different that we're just not aware of. And as for what that might be, well, I don't know. Like I said, I never finished this game. I got very close. I got to the final boss, but I suppose the final boss was just a little too challenging for me. Wait a minute. What am I gonna do? Well, I guess I have to blow up this block. You might think, oh, look how easy this looks, Mackerel Phones. The final boss can't be that tough. Well, I understand why you might think that. Oh, but believe me, it can be that tough. I understand why you might be skeptical at this point, but you'll see. You'll see. In addition to the PlayStation and in addition to the PlayStation and Sega Dreamcast versions of this game, whatever system I said earlier, it's supposed to be Sega Dreamcast. It was for Dreamcast. This game was. Oh, damn it. The other versions of the game were the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Advance versions. The Nintendo 64 version, I believe, had even more cut content than the PS1 version. Like, I think they might have cut some whole levels in that one, not just music. But the Game Boy Advance version is, without doubt, the worst version of the game. Now, I admit their graphics are pretty impressive for a Game Boy Advance game. However, they cut out a whole bunch of levels. The cutscenes are rendered just about nonsensical, like they're incomprehensible. Like they're just like random nonsense in that one. In addition to these other, you know, in my opinion, really big problems, well, I mean, they also cut out music in that one too. A lot of music, in fact. Like, maybe, like a lot of music. But it really is still impressive that they gained the, you know, that they were able to make a game that looked quite as nice as it did, that was, you know, on Game Boy Advance. I see what I need to do. I forgot what I needed to do here. Now I remembered. I'm kind of wondering how these eternal sparklers go off. I mean, it looks like it could be a good energy source. If we could find a source like that would just generate energy indefinitely, I mean, that would change the world. I hope they find an energy source like that someday, although, well, maybe they will. You know, you find that most of the time that you say, oh, such and such is impossible, in fact, it's not as impossible as you think. And it ends up getting done. Like, people used to say, you know, back in the 18th century, people said everything, you know, useful that will ever be invented has already been invented. And you know, turns out they were a bit, you know, the people who said that were a bit off. They're a bit wrong. And as you also might see, the ghosts here carry, crates of gunpowder with them. Or barrels of gunpowder. I used to think those were mallets, and I thought that was kind of odd, but they're supposed to be crates of gunpowder. As we see later on, the ghosts lay out whole trails of gunpowder behind them, trying to blow up Ms. Pac-Man. And I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to take this story one piece at a time. The epic Ms. Pac-Man Maze Madness Saga. Not to be confused with Saga, the video game series. Which, were they made by the guy who made Final Fantasy II? I think they were, the fellow who directed that one. Final Fantasy II might have a lot of things about it that are really, really interesting. But it also has a lot of things about it that are really kind of terrible. It's kind of interesting that in this one, the sort of ghost houses, or the ghost respawn points, are sort of machine-y looking. At least I think it's interesting. It kind of makes you wonder what exactly those things are. Like, what's in there exactly? Okay, so there's still one power pellet over here. I mean, if you really want to know what they are is probably, well, I mean, I don't know. The ghosts have clearly designed them to restore their, ghost sort of clothes. Man, Ms. Pac-Man just took so much punishment. I'm sorry, Ms. Pac-Man. I love you, and I don't want you to get hurt. Well, truthfully, she doesn't have much of a personality. But, I mean, I guess even just her, in-game appearance does give her a bit of a personality, doesn't it? So what we're gonna need a red key to go over that way. And we're gonna need a blue key, too. Okay. Let's go get them. Maybe they'll be aboard this junk. I always thought it was odd that, these old Chinese ships are called junks. Like, when I noticed, my grandfather calling, like, these Chinese boats junks, you know, years ago when I first heard it, I thought, well, like, wait, is that some kind of, like, old, like, kind of racist thing from, like, the 30s or something? But no! They're actually called junks! That's actually the name of this kind of boat. Why? That's such a bad name! That is such a bad name! Anyway. I really wish I could see what was going on over here. Well, I guess I'll just wait for the TNT to explode and then I'll go check. That's a good sentence. You know, it seems to me that you've made all the right life choices when what you're doing next hinges on when the TNT is going to explode. What are we gonna do here? We're gonna have to get to that pair from that direction one way or another, so let's see then. Oh, I see what I need to do. I mean, I don't really, because the camera is at a weird angle. I almost am thinking this is some kind of glitch. I don't remember having this problem, when I was playing this, this game the first time, or for my first attempt at Let's Playing it, rather. My first time playing this game is so long ago, I don't remember it. I must have been I must have been in elementary school. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Who said it was cool, anyway? That did not sound very much like Ms. Pac-Man. In fact, it sounded sort of like, I mean, it sounded like a kind of nasally voiced guy going like, cool! Ah, jeez, that's real cool, Ned! Good job! That's what nasally people sound like, right? Pigs? Pigs in human clothing. Kiryu and Satsuki! Anyway, I should probably not be talking about that right now. Instead, let's talk about Ms. Pac-Man Maze Madness. Where is the red key? Where's that at? Oh. Oh. The beautiful fireworks exploding. The splendid the splendid colors of their flames reflected in the water of the sea. Like the stars in the sky, they glow. I'm missing a fruit. Where's the cockamamie fruit? Huh? Where's the fruit at? Where's that fruit that I missed? I'm not gonna rest until I find this. I remember that I missed a fruit in this level the first time, too. I'm determined to not miss it again. Sure enough. Sure enough. I was right. And to celebrate getting that health extension, we set off more fireworks. Even in these dark times, as the Pac family is in such grave crisis, Ms. Pac-Man still is able to set off other people's fireworks, and get hurt by walking directly into fire herself. I don't know, maybe she's into that, but I don't think you should be. I think that burning yourself is very unhealthy. This is just like the Pyromania docks level. I could have set off the firework again. Although, obviously, there's also the whole China theme going on. Oh! Yo, gabba gabba! Oh, there we go. I had to unlock that door to get to the key to a different locked door behind that door. Worth it. Anyway, there is a pack dot over here. Specifically, I'm sure it's a power pellet. Maybe the way it works...
Well done.
It's got so many bonuses there. Maybe the way it works is that the pack dots and power pellets grow on the same kind of plant, but the power pellets are like the rarer fruit on the same plant. Or maybe a pack dot is like an unripe power pellet, but it just takes a long time for a power pellet to ripen. And it's only when they're ripe that they begin glowing and levitating and become ready for use as ghost-chomping weapons. I tell you, the lore in Pac-Man runs deep. Real deep. Where's the red door? You see, these levels are beginning to get pretty big, and I'm beginning to get lost in them. And the final set of pack dots in the level. Now, you know what we're in the midst of right now? Pure, undiluted maze madness. Now, you know, I think there are some other signs that Professor Pac-Man is an unreliable mentor. That there's something going on here he's not telling us. Not only is the Pactrometer clearly not function in any way that, like, could possibly be what he said it's for, but also, the game keeps giving us these indications that he's kind of a kook. That, like, he doesn't know what he's doing for sure. For example, he, when he tells us he tried to invent a machine, like a vacuum cleaner for magic carpets.
Well done.
Or he seems to be trapped, but he's still helping us somehow. If these gold stars undo Mesmerelda's magic, why is he only channeling them to us when we get all the pack dots or all the fruit? I mean, I don't want to assume the worst about it, because he's an old friend of the Pac family. He's an old family friend. Surely he wouldn't do something so manipulative to any of them. But who can be sure? Okay, so I guess that combined with all the multiplayer maps I unlocked the first time I was going through this, I've unlocked the last of them now. Good. I think it's kind of goofy the way that they seem to be suggesting, China, it's like harbors and dragons and fireworks. Oh, and Chinese New Year is the year of the Pac. So let's go honor this typical cultural celebration in Pac-Ping. Even though Pac-Ping supposedly has been cut off from the rest of the world for so long and no one lives there because no one's been able to get there. But that's just not true, it's just a lie.
What a good little witch's helper! She's collecting the gems for me!
Of course, there are more pressing matters than whether Professor Pac is lying. I mean, clearly it's set up so that really Professor Pac-Man is in league with Mesmerelda. Like, that is obviously what's going on here. Because otherwise, she's out collecting all the gems, doing what Professor Pac-Man said, and Mesmerelda knows about this and figures that it's just her chance to get the gems by stealing them. Through theft, through crime. Not that there's any crime that's alien to Ms. Merelda's twisted black heart. There'll be a power pellet up there.
Hey, well done.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Just a little bit of praise, you know, goes a long way. I mean, you gotta not be weak to just inane flattery. But occasionally getting a compliment, it makes a person feel good, you know? It makes a person feel good. I mean, you know, where we are now is clearly a city that's clearly inhabited. Wow, it's so ludicrous. They can't, surely, Professor Pac-Man would know better than to think we're stupid enough to believe that this place is uninhabited. I mean, surely. Of course, I don't know. I mean, he seems to always do these things and try and flatter Ms. Pac-Man. He says things like, you know, she thought you wouldn't be smart enough to figure this out, but you are, of course. Yeah, of course. It's all very suspicious. All very questionable. Actually, what does this one do? Oh, it does that. Well, that's not good. I think I just made it impossible for myself. Oh well. We all make things impossible sometimes. Oh, I see what I can do. Don't worry about it, kid. I'm cool. I'm cool beans. So we'll put one TNT block in these two spots. Makes sense? Pretty risky, though. But you know, that Ms. Pac-Man, she's a risk taker. She's got moxie. Now, I would say something, a word like spunk, but that word has certain other connotations that would make it sound sort of disgusting instead of complimentary. Oh, real Chinese writing. I mean, not that I know how to read Chinese, but it certainly looks like actual Chinese writing. I wonder what it says. If anyone, who can read Mandarin or assume it's Mandarin, would like to say, please tell me what it says in the comments. See, look at all this fresh fruit. This place isn't freaking abandoned, untouched by civilization for centuries. Since time immemorial, that's nonsense. I tell ya, I mean, what does Professor Pac-Man take us for a fool? Does he take us for a fool? Now, for what it's worth, I do know some details about the ending of this game. I know enough, for example, to tell you that it does end up being a bit of a twist. But actually, that's one of the things about Ms. Pac-Man Maze Madness. As I've said before, and I sort of touched upon earlier, one of the things I think is interesting about it is it's pretty dark. I mean, it has that whole kidnapped princess thing going on. But it's made a little atraditional by the added detail that in this game, we're a woman trying to save the princess. And in addition, we don't really even know that it is a kidnapped princess. All we're told about her is that she was the good princess of Pac-Land, and she hasn't been heard from ever since some unknown dark forces took over her castle. So, I mean, the government is in disarray right now, man. While we're at it, let's kill the suicide bomb factory. all we're told about the princess is that she hasn't been seen since. I mean, it sounds like she's dead. And another element that makes this all so kind of creepy is that we don't even know who the villain is. Like, we don't find out who the villain is until later on. Anyway, we finally see one of the legendary dragons of Pac-Ping. They can be found on the Pac-Ping flag. I mean, look at that. Look at the designs of those lanterns. It all has that very Manchu feel. I mean, the Manchus. I mean, it makes enough sense because it feels like it's like the Qing dynasty. Hey, Mr. Dragon. I'm pretty sure one breath of that fire will kill us. But what we need to do is use ourselves as live bait to get that dragon to combust this gunpowder. Worked. We really cut it close there, though, didn't we? Now then, Mr. Dragon. Goodbye. Now, as you can see, though, the dragons do respawn. Still, it's nice to imagine Ms. Pac-Man devouring a dragon whole. It's very charming, isn't it? It's just so charming. It's just cute. It's really cute. We're not in this for cuteness. This is a life. This story is a story of life and death, and life or death struggle against an unknown foe. Probably not be setting off fireworks inches from a big block of TNT. Oh well. This place is pretty gunpowder crazy.
Hey, well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, as you can see, though, these levels are getting much more big and elaborate. But they just keep getting even bigger and more elaborate, don't they? That's how it works. Now listen to that waka waka sound effect. I love it. Hey, ghosties. Ghosties toasties. Your ghost is toast. Spooky. These and more words can be used to another one of these can be used to describe the ghost game. The gang of ghosts. Anyway, since we're gonna go back to this level anyway, I suppose I really don't have any reason to eat all the pack dots on this go. But the reason I suspect the gold stars are needed to overcome Esmeralda's magic is that, at numerous points, we, have to deal with the, matter of Mesmer. Is that at numerous points, you're not able to advance unless you have enough gold stars to begin the level. So what other explanation is there other than that Esmeralda put up some sort of ghost barrier thing? And that why aren't we teleporting? There we go. And that, in order to... This is the side we came from. And that in order to advance, we need the stars to remove her barrier. These traps where you just have to wait a second are disturbingly effective against me, aren't they? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. We're in trouble now. See, the ghost is laying down lots of gunpowder. Yep. Sure laying down that gunpowder, aren't you, Ghosty, huh? Oh no. Well, I don't really know what I can do. I mean, I don't know what I can do. I guess I just go get what pack dots are left. Even though I'm gonna come here again, so it's pointless. Death awaits us all. Here we go. Maybe. No, we got it.
Hey, well done.
It's been combusted, and now we just need to get him to lay down some more gunpowder, and yes, there we go. Hey! Bye! You know what? Maybe I should go finish that maze. It might actually be possible to get all the Pac dots in one go here. Actually, nah, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't have bothered. Oh no! Really? God, come on! Oh well. What the? He laid down the gunpowder everywhere except where I needed him to. Everywhere else he laid down the gunpowder. I never said this game was perfect, okay? In fact, it clearly has a lot of problems. But eventually the gunpowder dissipates, as you can see. I guess it slips through the boards of the dock. And, because it does, it ends up, pouring down into the ocean beneath us. There we go. At least a little bit got combusted. Hey. Hey, you want to lay down some more of that gunpowder from your barrel there? There we go. Those explosions will kill us in one go, but fortunately, that didn't happen today, now did it? What are we gonna do here? You see, that opened one of these doors. Specifically this one. Hey guys. How you doing, guys? Ah, yeah. I always get them at the very last second. In any case, our goal is aboard this junk. What? How the heck do I solve this dilemma? Now the answer is I clearly don't remember it. Clearly I do not. Got the banana back there. And this switch opens up, something. It's not open up the path to the banana, that's for sure. Oh, here we go. Oh, come on! They run for me down there! These ghosts just don't play clean. I'm really quite confused. So we have that one. Click that one. Do I just need to click them all at once? Is that what's going on? Maybe. Could be. Does this one do anything? I mean, I think it just opens the gate up from this side. I'll still look. Oh, that was the solution. Another victory. For whatever much that failure of a level could be called a victory. Man, I did badly. I feel like I've been on a streak this whole time, but now I don't even know what my life is anymore.
That score just keeps going up, Dale. Except not so much. Only 175,000. Not much of a score at all.
At least I can save my game again. At least I can do that much. Oh, peer pressure. This is a bonus round. Last time I played through it, I had to go back and get a bunch of gold stars because I didn't have enough to advance through this barrier, I guess. But let's take a look at peer pressure. I remember this as being one of the most memorable of the bonus levels. Yeah, those ghosts make that silly little yeah noise and leap down to kill you. They're basically killing themselves, though, diving into the sea like that. And of course, these ships are shipping fruits and Pac-Dots. I mean, maybe the inhabitants of Pac-Ping are ghosts. I mean, if they are, I mean, they're probably... I mean, what they're doing might seem bad to us now, but they are just responding for the centuries' abuse they have received at the hands of the Pacs. That's another thing about this stage. It sounds so moody and serious and dark and sad and desperate. But it's just a goofy bonus stage. In any case, the biggest challenge here is just getting all the Pac-Dots and, like, not dying. Because it can be pretty difficult. The Pac-Dots might float towards you, but it's still easy to miss them. I had to use like a kamikaze attack against that boat. Sometimes we're driven to desperate extremes, to frenzied extremes. I mean, you know, this is an all-out war at this point. I mean, it has been for a while, of course. It's a good thing for these ghosts that these rocks they're on can't be blown up by torpedoes, which I'm rather suspicious of that. I think that you certainly could blow them up with torpedoes. I mean, they're just rocks. Why didn't I pick up that heart? You saw that! I passed right through it! What the heck? Well, there's another one right here at least. Wait, I didn't get all the Pac-Dots? What ones did I miss? I thought I got all of them, though. Really? I missed 16. But how? Where were they? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm never playing that stage again. Well, unless I have the misfortune of needing to play through this game a third time. Although at that point, I'll just be fairly convinced that I'm not meant to make this particular Let's Play and give up. Oh. Pack, Crackle, Pop. Isn't that a welcoming name? Believe me, this level lives up to all the hype. It's everything you could imagine and more. They don't have bosses in this game, except for the final boss. So, it's no wonder that we have these, you know, big third levels. See, it's like open markets with signs written in Chinese and everything. What are the odds that this alien culture in Pac World would develop the same written language as the Chinese, though? I mean, what are the odds? Anyway, as you can see, the ghosts and, the dragons... Well, the ghosts are using the dragons now. They're laying out trails of gunpowder to try and get Ms. Pac-Man to get blown up by them. Little do they realize that they're actually going to be helping her by doing this. And, well, clearly they are helping her. Cool indeed, Ms. Pac-Man. Really, it's quite hot here, I mean, with all the explosions. And we're in the middle of, like, a festival. You know, you're in a festival, we got those big crowds, everybody's there. It gets very hot. All that body heat. And personally, I think that there's nothing quite like the good, pure inhumanity of, lots of horrible freezing cold. Just the sheer inhumanity of it all. It's just wonderful. What's wrong with me? Anyway, here we are. In here. In Pac-Town. You know? It's Packtown, better, watch your pack. Oh, that could be the level, like, in fact, that probably is the name of a level somewhere in this game. I wonder if the original Japanese level names were also corny puns. Or brilliant puns, as the case may be. You might notice that some of these songs don't loop very elegantly. They sort of seem to stop playing, and then suddenly they begin playing again, at, where they started. And that's true. The reason for this is that the composer of the soundtrack actually made the soundtrack be, well, the full, like, actual songs that you could sit down and listen to with an ending that don't just fade out. Now, there's a bit of a problem here because the result is that they're not really designed to loop, but they have to loop anyway. Another ghost block. Very pretty place, at least, Pac-Ping. The waves lapping against the shores of the harbor. It's very nice. It's very well done. Am I the only one who sort of thinks it's odd, the themes of these areas? So we start out with ancient Egyptian theme. Then we move on to just bones and snow and caves and ice and primeval world. Then we move on to Beijing in the 19th century? Or maybe even, I guess it could be like 17th century. In any case, like Beijing Harbor? And then, well, like, a few of these, it just seems a little odd that some of the areas are themed around, like, fantasy worlds, whereas other areas are very much themed around, these real places, sort of historical places. Not that China isn't still around, obviously, but certainly, Qing China dominated by the Manchus is sure something that's, long in the past. Last Chinese dynasty. It really is quite interesting, the fall of the Ming dynasty. There's this book, I would definitely recommend it because, there's so few primary sources like this available for us, but there's a book called Voices from the Ming-Qing Cataclysm, in which we have translations of, well, first-hand accounts of the fall of the Ming. These suicide bomber robots very much strike me as the kind of thing you might encounter in Pac-Man World 1. The dragons, there's no area in Pac-Man World 1 they could have fit in. But it definitely gives me that kind of feel, so to speak. Normally, folks, you shouldn't be setting... God damn it. I agree, Dragon. Normally, folks, you shouldn't be setting off TNT on a boat. But there are exceptions to every rule. If you do set off TNT on a boat and die, though, don't say it was because I told you to. In fact, I'm telling you right now, you shouldn't do it. There's really no time you should ever do something like that. And if you are in a situation where doing that's a good idea, you've probably made some bad life decisions. It's an odd place for an extra life, isn't it? Like, you'd expect you get an extra life for doing something daring, like putting yourself out there, like running a risk. What we did, though, was we just got an extra life for hiding from the monster in a crevice that was put there to hide from the monster. On the subject of which, is this a dragon that happens to just look like one of those dragons that are used in parades, but it just happened to evolve that way, or is it not really a dragon? Let's find out. I think it is a dragon. I know it's pointless getting the fruit. In fact, yeah, I'm not even going to bother getting any more fruit. What? I'm not going to bother. Forget it. I suppose this is some sort of fireworks warehouse. And so having all these flames going off here, that is very, very dangerous. That's like a terrible idea, in fact. I mean, this place is going to be blown sky high, which is why we got to get out of here as soon as possible. The blinds are a nice touch on the windows, though. It's also a nice touch with all these machines depositing dynamite. Or maybe they're some sort of carrots or something. That's what I thought they were when I was a kid, but they're obviously, dynamite. I mean, what else would make sense here? I'll tell you what, not much. Nah, we opened the floodgates to the world, to linking the domains of the Blue Ghost and the Red Ghost, of Inky and Clyde, although I'm not really sure it is Inky and Clyde. I'm not really sure about that at all. I like these, old-style lanterns. Oh, ceiling fan. See, they have electricity! I was talking about how this is like Qing era? Nonsense! They have electricity! They have ceiling fans! What kind of madness is this? Clearly this place isn't so untouched after all. Clearly this place isn't so untouched after all, but at least we got the last gem. I guess there is something cool about that. Maybe we can save Professor Pac. Save the world. At least save our country, our nation. From the ghosts who are operating under Mesmerelda.
One fruit short, Dale. Not that it's her fault. She did her best, bless her heart. Well said, Dale.
Well said. Let's save our game and move on. Move on to Haunted Halloween. One more gem to go.
This is where the evil Mesmerelda and her hideous creatures live. Find the last gem to work the Pactrometer.